Good afternoon and welcome to Baku and to the streets of this monster of a circuit which really is like nothing else out there. The 3.7-mile course winds its way around a university, a concert hall and of course the old town walls, which thankfully is still standing after the huge crash which brought yesterday's race to a premature conclusion. Baku, beautiful conditions for it as we look at the flame towers there. It always seems to deliver a spectacle, and today we have 21 more laps. It's the sprint race here at round 4 of the 2017 FIA Formula 2 Championship. I'm your commentator, Alex Jakes, and I've got another one alongside me. 2012 GP2 champion Davide Valsecchi is right here. Ralph Boschung's on the pole, and we've spent the majority of the time before we went on air trying to work out how he's there, because yesterday he didn't make a pit stop.
Yeah, it was strange the rules, because I didn't make the pit stop. I was thinking that maybe Karamassa's got the pole position for today, but we checked it out the rules just before the start, and the grid is different.
So Ralph Boschung takes his first points and gets the reverse grid pole ahead of Ollie Rowland, who finished 4th yesterday, dropped down to 7th though with a penalty. We talk more about that. The only driver in the field who scored points in every single race this season is Jordan King, who goes from 3rd. Norman Nato gained 7 places yesterday and goes from 4th. Artem Markelov has scored points in 6 out of the 7 races, going from 5th. And then our top 3 from yesterday's feature: Latifi, De Vries and our race winner Leclerc. Canamassas unlucky in 9th, and Sorokin returning to ART and making his F2 debut in 10th, going from that position today. Then we had Malia Matsushita, who started from the front row yesterday and was so disappointed after his mistake at turn 1, plunged him down the order and taking penalties in the race yesterday. Camara, Galeo and Robert Visoyu, who said he did find his feet towards the end and he's seen that his teammate is capable of scoring points. Then we had Giotto Delatraz, who crashed along with Jeffrey, and Antonio Fuoco is 19th. Johnny Cecotto starts from the pit lane. Johnny Cecotto's day yesterday, pretty much the exact opposite of Charles Leclerc's, because he managed to stall on the grid, had to be pushed to the pit lane, sped in the pit lane, got a penalty and then went off at turn 2. Not what he needs. We're looking at Ollie Rowland, and his penalty yesterday, Davide, you could argue it was extremely harsh, because the stewards saw that he set the fastest middle sector at that time of the race when there were yellow flags. So they gave him the penalty which demoted him, but the stewards could also tell that he backed off by 0.7 of a second. So a little bit of a harsh one, surely, for a man right in contention for the title.
Yeah, you're right. It was harder, the penalty for him, and it's harder for the championship for him. Yesterday was 4th. He did a good race, not good enough to stay in front of his teammate Latifi that got 3rd, but he has a good chance today, Roland. Starting from the first row, is one of the candidates for the victory today.
Norman Nato said he'd made a real step forward and he wasn't sure what was possible. It's worth pointing out that the man that we're looking at right now, 8th on the grid, our winner yesterday, tough week for him, but he has come through in some style. Charles Leclerc absolutely believes he can emulate Antonio Giovinazzi in GP2 this time last year and do the double. Davide, you're a driver who's done the double in this machinery. What are the main priorities for Charles on the opening lap, and how do you build your way through from 8th to 1st?
Yeah, you're right. The first point is to have a good start and a good first lap. You can recover some position without any risk, and then you have to be patient and stay calm and try to use all the circumstances of the race, some safety car, and then try to be quickest as possible in the last few laps where you can decide the race.
This race last year was won by Antonio Giovinazzi, who did start in 8th position but dropped to last at the very start. So really hope for everyone on the grid, and further hope for those at the back of the grid that you look at from that magnificent picture here in the square. It's normally a bus lane, the pit lane. You see Government House on the left-hand side. The guys at the back can take a lot of hope from the fact that 4 drivers made up 7 places or more yesterday. So there's a few guys on the grid, certainly towards the back, looking at Antonio Fuoco, who really, the teammate to this man, Charles Leclerc. And Fuoco, after that crash yesterday, he's only scored points on 1 occasion. His teammate running away with a huge lead, 28-point lead in the standings. When you've lost confidence as a driver, how do you come back? How do you build that back?
You need a good result, there's no way. You need to be patient and you need to have a good result. Foco yesterday was extremely competitive, but then he had a mistake. He has to be calm today and maybe get some point.
Would be fantastic if he could, because, well, it's a championship where you have access to the drivers far more than you would do with Formula One, and you can see it's really hurting Antonio Fuoco at the moment. So, in GP2, we had doubles completed by Nico Rosberg, Lewis Hamilton, Nelson Piquet Jr., Nico Hülkenberg, and the man to the right-hand side of me, Davide Valsecchi. The final double completed 1 year ago by Antonio Giovinazzi. 6 doubles in GP2. Will we get a first double today, or will Leclerc do what we saw in Barcelona when he started from 8th on the reverse grid and just look for solid progress and more points to add to the lead that he has in the championship that you can see there? If Ollie Rowland goes on to lose this championship by 6 points after that penalty, we will be hearing about it and then some. Rowland yesterday said he'd backed off by 6 or 7 tenths, but because he'd done a personal best sector, he was penalised. He described it as wrong and ridiculous.
The Campus cars, dry ice everywhere.
So dry ice everywhere from the Campos, and Campos's points yesterday mean that all 10 teams, you can see the 4 for Boschong there, all 10 teams have now scored. It is a super competitive series as we get to the point of the racetrack where yesterday's race came to a premature conclusion. Let's not hope for that today. Want to see all 21 laps around a racetrack that requires the driver's attention at every single stage. And here's a man that has 1 podium finish this year, and he's really struggled from that point on. Norman Nato could really do with a strong result today, and he's got his mini nemesis, Jordan King, his former teammate. They were battling yesterday. He is the man directly in front of him on the grid.
Biking points moved quite a lot.
Really important for the driver. They all need to be careful about the temperature on the front tires and the temperature of the brake. Yesterday some of the drivers struggled a lot in the first part of the race. One of that was only Roland, that he was really complaining about the front of the car, and so you need to warm up very well the tires, but most of it the brake, because for the first brake and then corner 2 and then corner 3 after the brake straight, you need to be aggressive and confident in the brake.
The one thing that the red flag did rob us a chance of seeing is whether Sergei Sorokin, the man that we were just on board with, could have made it through to reverse grid pole. I know, Davide, you were speaking to Sergio Canamassas, who is really unimpressed that he's right there in 9th position with the red and green crash helmet. But now, through the heat haze comes Ralph Boschong, who was so pleased with his first points. Said it, just like you were saying a second ago, Davide, he said it took a while for the tyres to come into the operating window, got better as the track temperature increased. We've got a track temperature of 57 degrees, an air temperature of 27 degrees, really quite warm temperatures for the drivers to be hyper accurate throughout. So Ralph Boschong in familiar territory. He has led away from a reverse grid in GP3. He is a race winner from last year's GP3 series. He wasn't struggling on the mediums, he was just hoping for a safety car or a red flag, which he got at the exact moment that he needed to do the race without a pit stop and avoid a penalty. He's made 1 change to his car this morning, increasing the ride height. It was bottoming out massively, and Chicotto, who has taken part in the formation lap and returns to the pits. You usually just stay at the end of the pit lane. Always something different with Johnny Chicotto. We have the green flag at the back, and now we've got 19 cars on the grid, 1 in the pit lane, and 4 lights, 5 lights in Baku. And we're underway for the sprint race with a bit of wheel spin for Ralph Boschong, but a good start, but Ollie Rowland's got a better one. Oh, a massive jump from Boschong to hold on to the lead. He has held on to the lead, and somehow Ollie Rowland managed to hold on to 2nd place. Rowland to the inside. Boschong is not going to be denied. Held on for corner 1, but Ollie Rowland takes the lead into corner 2, and it is slowing them all behind. We didn't see drama yesterday on the first lap. We've got it now. Rowland Roland straight into the lead in a race that he knows he's got to win. Boschong didn't think he had the pace to be on the podium, but was hoping to stay in the top 8. He will just be trying to clear his head at the moment. Roland, Boschong, Nato, Latifi, King, and there's De Vries really close between Camera and Galale there in the Arden, and they're swapping all over the place as Sorokin having to defend from his countryman Artem Markelov, but it's Ollie Roland who was super aggressive and has got the lead of the race.
Really good start because Bushon closed immediately very hard Ollie Roland to the wall, but then Roland being aggressive at the break of the second corner, really on the inside, so perfect start for the Englishman.
Not what Jordan King would have wanted. He has dropped down a fair old way. You can see right there that he is behind Latifi. So not the getaway the Englishman would have wanted, but we have another Englishman in the lead out front, the Renault development driver, sprinting clear. And where has Charles Leclerc got to? He's behind. He's behind Canamassas there, who has improved as they come to turn 16, the last corner of any substance on the racetrack. It's all flat from here, and Boschong has managed to settle down, but he had a slightly poor exit there, and is Norman Nato, remember, without the use of DRS, going to be able to improve. Norman Nato, a podium finisher this year in Bahrain, looking for a second one here in Baku, and Nick De Vries has a decent run on Jordan King ahead of him as we go on to lap number 2. Here is Ollie Roland, who has a lead, nice lead, of 0.8 of a second. Nato closing, but not close enough. This is second and third. King having to go defensive. King going wide, and that's going to give the inside line to Nick De Vries. The 90-degree corners that start this lap really helping not only De Vries, but Sorokin, who is getting racy as well, and somehow they make it through turn 2 without any contact, but I don't know how. Still no DRS at this stage. Sorokin, is he going to leave it? And look at the speed of Markelov. On board with Markelov, and how there wasn't contact there, I don't know. Wow, he's like a train. Cars absolutely everywhere coming through. Sorokin not about to be denied, and Leclerc is getting close to contact there, but somehow avoids it, and that was really, really tight between 4 cars in the first sector of this lap.
What a fight! These guys, they are confident. They were left 1 centimeter between cars. There was fantastic. Leclerc took the position to Canamassas, and De Vries defended very well to King. And here, Markelov lost the position to Sirocki. Look the start, because Bushon defended very well the position to Roland at the start. He took the line and he maintained it until the end, but then at the exit he's been surprised.
Well, look at how tight he had to go to the wall. That gave Ollie Roland all the time he needed to get the move done into 2. There was the move into 2. We're on board with Norman Nato, who currently finds himself in 3rd position. That's massive. As tight as they could get to the pit wall, he would have been thinking that the lead was going to open up, but he just, despite the momentum, had nowhere to go. This is how the lead changed hands then at turn 2. Ollie Roland would have been annoyed at the chop, and he gets his revenge really quickly as Latifi getting a great start there, remember, from 6th, and he was down the inside. That was Ollie Roland for the lead in a lockup, risking a lot there, but knew he had to get that move completed. Here's Norman Nato, we're back live. 3rd, racing 2nd, Nato to the inside, but it's still not enough without DRS. But look at the difference in momentum as we go on board with him to turn 2. We've seen earlier in this race that Boschong's vulnerable. Oh, into here, and how on earth he didn't lose his front wing? I don't know. No, he has damaged it. He's damaged the end fence there. Oh, it was too close. It was too close. And there's damage between Nato and Boschong has now been passed as well by Latifi, who is up to 3rd. Boschong trying to come back. De Vries looking nicely placed at the moment. But how Nato didn't make full contact there and spear into the wall, I don't know.
It was strange because he chose a strange line. It was not really behind the car. He was just moved a bit on the right side to try to cross the line and to surprise the contender in the break. Maybe it was just a bit too late, because look, he was not really behind, and then he tried to prevent him. Oh, he risked so much, eh?
Well, he made the move late. We know Norman Nato is an uncompromising driver, but I think that is going to be a real issue. Has he endangered his podium chances? Ollie Rowland is loving this because he is sprinting clear now with a 2.1 second lead. Great stuff for him and Nick de Vries, who was so impressive yesterday on his way to second place. De Vries, who said he was delighted to finally convert the one-lap qualifying pace into a feature race result. He's now looking very, very impressive as he hunts down Ralph Boschung, who just at this stage, it must be so difficult.
Come on, don't stick me the corners.
So Delatraz hasn't been comfortable in Monaco, hasn't been comfortable in Baku, and he will be just trying to learn as much as he can. He is currently down in 17th position. No progress either for Antonio Fuoco, and Johnny Cecotto has passed just the one car from the pit lane then, as Ollie Rowland comes over the line to lead. Nato improving up to second place. It's looking good for the Resurgent Dams team. Is it looking good for Nick de Vries, who is getting ever closer, but instead we're focusing on Leclerc on board with Markelov in 8th position. Leclerc is directly behind us in 9th. Markelov in a situation to pass or be passed. He's got Sorokin, who has improved from 10th on the grid up to 7th.
Okay, behind you is Nato, is 2 seconds, and he has some front wing damage.
So Ollie Rowland just being informed of the front wing damage, and Luca Giotto showing what he can do on the medium tyres. Remember, lights to flag today, no required pit stop, and Luca Giotto has got himself up to 12th position, having started in 16th, so good progress for the Italian driver. His teammate at the moment is in a rather difficult position behind Sorokin, who he's raced and made contact with in the past, and he's got the championship leader directly behind. And back at turn 4 a few laps ago, Leclerc risked it down the inside, but thankfully didn't damage the car. This is really the issue, isn't it, when you're trying to come through the field from a reverse grid 8th position?
It's not so easy. You have to be patient, and then just in front of Leclerc there is Markelov. That look how he's confident. He's really close in the mid sector to the car in front of him. Then he's Sirotkin, so it's not easy for Leclerc to gain position. I think Markelov is competitive enough to get the place to Sirotkin at the moment. We wait for the main straight open if there is the DRS open.
So the top 8 scoring points. So at the moment, Charles Leclerc, who has scored points in every race apart from the one that he contested in Monaco, looking for more today. The leader by 28 points in the championship. It's King, Sorokin, Markel, and this man here really close together. This time, though, going to have DRS. It's going to be an enormous tow for Charles Leclerc when it is enabled. So Sorokin's got it. Markelov's got it, and Leclerc's got it. Here comes Nick de Vries making the move on Ralph Boschung. And you see the problem when all 3 of the cars in front have it. You are not able to take the position, as Boschung will just try and regroup, but it's looking a big ask.
Okay, you are pulling away a little bit every lap. That's good, control the tires, could be a long race.
So Jose, his engineer, on the radio, trying to give him instruction as Norman Nato sets the fastest lap of the race, 0.2 of a second faster, as you see, closing in, and it's looking all right for Norman Nato. That damage not really hurting him at this moment. So an engaging battle for the lead at the top of the field, and then this, which surely won't be this well behaved for too much longer, because Leclerc knows that if he wants to get onto the podium, he's really going to have to make the move. But they haven't really gapped out at all at this stage. It's Jordan King who is at the moment halting the progress of these 3 guys.
It's not so easy to be so close. We saw yesterday so many cars went into the wall right here, turn 7, and so it's not, believe me, it's not difficult to maintain the focus and to maintain the tires when you are so close to a car in front of you and you have to overtake.
So this is how Nick de Vries got himself up to 4th position, defending to the inside line Boschung, but the momentum of turn 16 through the sweeps and up to 205 miles an hour. Too much for the Campos, who now finds itself down in 5th. De Vries putting a really good weekend together. The confidence of that Monaco victory has propelled him Latifi. They were the big winners at the start. King, the big loser, along with Boschong now, but Boschong was expecting to be in a battle for 8th position. They are building up through the gears, speed all the time. Looking good for Charles Leclerc, looking good for Artem Markelov. Can Sorokin, the car in front, defend? King seems to have a great exit. Markelov going to the inside, but deciding against it. And every time you have half a look, it's going to cost you. So can Leclerc do anything? Leclerc thinks about it, but decides to take the cautious approach. And it's getting ever closer as they go now into the second DRS zone. This year there are 2 detection points. Once again, really quick lap from Norman Nato, bringing him close to the leader.
There is something with the suspension, but I keep going.
So Gustav Mallier is down there in 16th, not a contender for points and having real issues. But you see the difference in lap time between Nato and Roland. Last time around, improvements all the time. So Ollie Roland about to come under massive pressure. The gap as they crossed the line last time, 1.5. Nato, if he does another lap like that, will be in DRS range. Meanwhile, we're on board with Artem Markelov. What's it looking like, Davide?
Yeah, you're right, but Roland has been called by the team. They suggest to him to control the tires, so maybe was not pushing really very much. Now Roland is set the fastest first sector, and so I think that Roland has the pace to maintain the lead. But anyway, De Vries, one of the quickest. He got the position to Bouchon, and now he's really close to Latifi. He's one of the quickest at the moment in the track.
He absolutely is. He is just about on the same pace as Norman Nato. So De Vries going really nicely. The man who started karting in Italy. It's an Italian team, Rapax, and he clearly loves the culture of that team at the moment. We're focusing on Charles Leclerc, though, the championship leader, has been stuck behind Artem Markelov since the opening stages of this race. Is he going to be able to make a move? Jordan King just seems to be able to have the battle, but meanwhile, this is for the podium position. Nick De Vries, look at the difference. He's been so quick all the way through the weekend, and once again, he shows his prowess with straight line speed to take away 3rd place from Nicholas Latifi, who is down to 4th. And that, well, we caught it right at the right moment, didn't we? That was fantastic to sweep on by and see the speed as they build up to 205 miles an hour. And this is what it looked like on board.
Look, he wanted to be aggressive. He just opened the line and then he come back immediately in front of the contender to show him, I'm quicker than you. I want to take my podium. It's mine today.
He's really on a charge. So much confidence at the moment. Charles Leclerc seems to be getting closer lap after lap, but he crucially does not have the speed on Artem Markelov down the 1.5 kilometer straight that we have here. It's like Monaco with a straight, this place, and the one overtaking. There's 2 real overtaking opportunities into turn 1 and into turn 3. We saw a little bit of opportunism from Ollie Roland on the start, on the opening lap from the start, but now it's all settled down. The lead now, crucially, a second.
You are right, because Nato is less than a second behind the leader Roland. So he start to be in pressure. So Nato start to have the DRS zone in the first sector. It can be much quicker. He can try to have an attack in the next few laps.
So that damage that could have been the end of his race, it's not hurting him one little bit. Now, King is going to have to deal with Boschon. That is going to help Jordan King, defending from Sorokin, Markelov and Leclerc, because King is going to get DRS very, very soon in his battle with Ralph Boschon. This time, though, look at the speed for Leclerc as he goes around the final 3 corners of this racetrack. The battle for the lead is at the front of your picture. Ollie Roland and then Norman Nato, but the man surely with the best opportunity of passing right now is Charles Leclerc, who has DRS. Boschon is being forced to the inside line. King is attacking there, and Leclerc is going to go and try and go right around the outside, and somehow he keeps it out of the wall, but I don't know how, because he looked for all the world like he was going to slither off into the Tech Pro, but he just about held on board. And Norman Nato, is he into the lead? Roland. Where's Ollie Roland gone? Norman Nato leads in Baku. So Nato has managed to get himself up from 4th. This was King.
Leclerc on the outside, there's no way. On the outside here, it's not possible to overtake. But Roland, where is went?
Is he making the mistakes? Just looking at the top of the picture now, this is going to be into turn 2.
No
he's got an issue, no. some sort of issue for Ollie Rowland, and it was a bit of a damage limitation yesterday. Struggled with the car.
I'm sorry for him. It was doing perfectly today.
And that robs us of a battle.
I can't get third gear.
And so an issue with the gearbox, robbing us of a battle for the lead, and Ollie Rowland is out. Damage limitation yesterday, then the penalty. And Dam's now absorbing an issue with the gearbox. You heard him on the radio say, I can't get third gear. And at the very least, now finds himself losing another haul of points. Well, at the moment it's only just one, but it could get far worse because we've still got a long way to go in this race, and that is real dejection for the Yorkshireman. Now, Leclerc, here he goes again. It seems to be all that we've been watching is this on a loop. Can he get past this time? He will have been told by his team that his main championship rival is out of the race. And when we see that, sometimes great drivers come alive. And this time, Leclerc has got past. He's doing super defensive. Look at this. Unbelievable into turn one. No margin for error. And yet again, such tight racing, millimetres in it, but Charles Leclerc, crucially, on hearing that his championship rival is out of the race, has now made the move to get past, and Markelov down to 8th. He's got Matsushita to worry about now. Leclerc up to 7th.
Really well done to Leclerc. Markelov tried to take back the position immediately, but Leclerc was good enough to close the door on the inside and to let Markelov on the outside of the first corner. That is really dangerous.
De Vries is dropping down the order. Why is that? We're on board. He's gone off. Another driver from the podium positions. The man from second goes off the road. There goes King. There goes Markelov. And this was how Leclerc, wow, no time to catch your breath. Look, this is incredible. Wow, we joined it on board. I don't know how there was no contact. There's the DRS. Past the pit entry line. That was super defense from Leclerc. An inch-perfect attacking driver. De Vries is out! We've lost a driver from the lead. We've lost a driver from second place. They're dealing with this under yellow, the double-waved yellows for marshals on the circuit. But, well, it looked like it might be his day overall. He had superb pace, but that mistake has led to his retirement, and we're seeing mechanical issues like we have all weekend, driver errors. This circuit is something really special. So now the order is Norman Nato, Nicholas Latifi, Jordan King, Ralph Boschung back up to 4th, and then it's Sorokin, but he might not be in 5th position for long, because here comes Leclerc with a real chance of a podium now, immediately past Sorokin, but they're both going to try and overtake Boschung, who swallowed like he was yesterday. Can Leclerc get his slow down? Yes, he can. And 2 cars in one straight. And Antonio Giovinazzi, who was the dominant double winner this time last year, as Markelov tries to elbow his way past, and there's debris flying everywhere. And it's absolutely unrelenting action. All the drivers in your picture attacking now, as Boschung stinking like a stone after having to get out of it. Wow, Markelov, Matsushita, who's going to win this battle? Boschung started the lap in 4th. He's now 8th.
Everyone can fight for the victory now. De Vries, bad mistake for him. Oh, this is...
Okay, mate, just to try to drive it like that. We're all so close, okay? We're all so close. People are making mistakes. Let's try to avoid it. De Vries on front made another mistake. So we're still in the points, okay?
Try to avoid mistake. Good advice, because we saw De Vries. Look this image. I love this. How do you call it? Skycam. Look at it.
The helicam. Fantastic. One side Sorokin, the other side Leclerc. Leclerc past Boschung, past Sorokin. And Leclerc now circulating in 4th position with King ahead in the podium position. And Leclerc looking at the minimum of a podium, but he will now believe that the double is possible. He's going to need something to happen to Nato, who has a 6.3 second advantage in the lead. And as you can see with your graphic, it's a 10-second advantage. But given the laps we saw from Leclerc yesterday, when his fastest lap was 0.6 faster than anything else anyone else could manage, he set both the fastest times in qualifying First and second fastest times in that session belong to Charles Leclerc, and now he's eyeing up Jordan King for the podium position. King hasn't been on the podium for MP Motorsport this year, and I don't think there's anything he can do to defend against King as Leclerc sweeps by. And the man who started in 8th position has had a little bit of luck with Ollie Rowland dropping out, has had a little bit of luck with Nick de Vries making a mistake and going off. And now he has himself up to 3rd, and with the fastest lap of the race as Matt Yoshida thinks about a move on Artem Markelov, and Luca Giotto, who started way down in 16th, now finds himself in the points in 8th.
Am I faster than the guy behind? Am I faster than the guy behind?
Yes, but you need to keep pushing as Leclerc is coming back.
It's not what you want to hear on the radio. Bad news, Charles Leclerc is behind you, certainly around this racetrack. Well,
but Nato is running well. Nato is running well because he's consistent on the 156, and maybe is enough to maintain behind all the contenders. So Nato, with the front wing damage, is running really well.
I tell you, last time around though, Charles Leclerc a 154.8, Norman Nato a 156.0. It is not out of the question that Leclerc can catch the two guys in front. Is he going to make the corner? Wow, I don't know how. Wow, this is incredible. On the limit stuff from all of them. No caution from lights out to right now on lap 11. We're focusing on Markelov, who started in 5th position and has dropped 1 place to 6th.
Have a look at the first sector. I was saying Nato is running well. He made a mistake in the first sector, and he's been 1 second point 3 slower than Leclerc.
We are seeing purple, and it belongs the fastest sectors of the race to Charles Leclerc, who is right up and running now. Bit between his teeth as soon as he heard, that is incredible stuff there from the Russian time of Luca Giotto, who has just been flat to the floor all the way through this race, and he's trying to get past Matt Yoshida once again. They would have given him great straight line speed in order to pass some people. Look at Leclerc there, 1.5 seconds a lap faster than Latifi, so that radio message well out of date. Not only is he not faster, is there anything he's going to be able to do to keep the Prema behind him at this stage? Boschong has gathered himself. He's not fallen any further. So Boschong in 9th position, hoping to scoop up points for errors in front. And I wouldn't count them out at this stage. Lap 12. It's been absolutely consistently thrilling here in the sprint race. The gap now between Latifi in 2nd and Leclerc. There's your race leader, but look, on the charge, here comes Charles Leclerc chasing the double that we hyped up at the start of the race. Well, it is actually now possible. The gap coming down all the time is single track. It's single file through here. Easy to make a mistake, but you can just see the confidence that Leclerc has. Nothing between them as they go into the fast section, and if he can just keep the car in that position, it looks to be that it would be an easy pass onto the main straight.
Yeah, you're right. When you are able to stay so close to your contender, it means that your pace is much better, and so he will attack for sure on the main straight Latifi. That is having a good race with a good race pace, but maybe not enough to maintain behind the car.
We have seen a really impressive drive in a sprint race to victory from Leclerc already this year. We are witnessing yet another one. Here comes Charles Leclerc on Nicolas Latifi. Remember Latifi on the podium yesterday. Here comes the DRS for Leclerc. Wide open the rear wing, and now the position of 2nd place belongs to Charles Leclerc. He is moved up the order from 8th on the grid to 2nd in the race, helped by the retirements, going wide there and somehow keeping it down. So much more speed. He's hanging on to it, and now there is only 1 car between him and a famous double victory, something that not even that rapid man, the champion of GP2 from last year, could manage, Pierre Gasly. His camera racing Sergio Canamassas as we see the progress being made at the start. Is Canamassas able to come back on camera? Camera has just got past him into turn 1, so he's defending that position into turn 3. He's got the inside line. Can he get it slowed down? He can. Galeo as well, and these guys were in close formation yesterday when it ended in tears.
Okay, we stick to Leclerc, and we come back to Nato.
Well, if you can, it's a great plan. Lock up there. Is he going to make the corner? Oh, he's gone deep. Camera really ragged at this stage. Maybe contact between Can and Massas. We've got Robert Visoyu in the background. Damage to the front wing of the youngest driver in the field, the Brazilian for MP Motorsport. His teammate King is in fourth. And you're not going to get two cars through turn 8. Don't even try it. And they don't. They listen. They can't hear, but I assume that they listen. So they knew it wasn't going to work out, and they are so close together in the position. Sadly, not for points of 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th there. Robert Visoyu, who said he might have not scored points, but he really did find his feet in the second half of the race, and Camera is really under pressure, and you can see it, lockups, late braking, and he's looking a little bit vulnerable at this stage. Fastest middle section of the race, meanwhile, whilst we focus on this battle further down the field, is Leclerc, who was 0.5 of a second in the middle part of the lap faster than the race leader at the moment, Norman Nato. But we know Nato is a tough customer to pass. Last year's race settled at the first corner on the last lap.
Yeah, but now Leclerc has set the fastest time of the race, 1:44 and 9/10 quicker than Norman Nato, and so it's just 5 seconds behind, 7 laps to the end. Maybe he will have a chance.
So competitive throughout the order, but Leclerc, let's hear from him.
Gap to Nato, 5 seconds.
So he's being just told the gaps. You can see the gap, it's coming down. It was 10 seconds a few laps ago, now it's 5. And Leclerc, well, he is gaining the attention of those in Formula One. Remember, he ran in the free practice sessions for the Haas team last year. They said they weren't sure if he was ready for Formula One. Well, he's really been answering that in Formula 2 this year with sensational drive after sensational drive, but it's easier said than done. One thing to catch, another thing to pass. He has an extremely long straight in order to do so. And these guys aren't racing for points, but they are racing to try and just get as further up the order and hope that something happens at the front. Davide, the state of Norman Nato's front wing will be hurting him through every single corner.
Yeah, but the little advantage that can have compared to Leclerc is that he didn't have to make so many mistakes. Look at it.
This was way back, early stages of the race.
It was just too late. It was a great maneuver, but a bit too late, and it could be dangerous for him. Because, look, so he just lost the upper flap there in the front wing. You don't lose so much, but affect a bit your understeer, so maybe creates a bit more degradation on the front.
On board with Artem Markelov, got Nobuhara Matsushita all behind him, gaining all the time. Getting closer, but you see he has got DRS because he is chasing Sorokin in front, and that is making it very difficult indeed.
Gap to Nato, 4 seconds, rhythm is good.
The gap updated for our leader, coming down all the time. Meanwhile, the closest on-track action at this stage that looks like it could combust at any moment, and Nato will be hoping it does, because if well, we had a safety car, he'd lose his lead, but he could do with the slower laps, he could do with the time elapsing. Nato, is he going to be able to do anything with a car behind him going that much faster that you can see from the graphic at the bottom of your picture? Leclerc in a hugely emotional week, chasing something really special, but now we focus on King, Sorokin, Markelov and Matsushita, who have seemed to be, remember when Leclerc was stuck with these guys earlier on, he has disappeared in another race entirely now, and these guys unable to make the move, and Davide gasping to the right-hand side of me because Markelov is really giving it everything. Maybe a little bit too much attack from Luca Giotto, who was with these earlier on and has dropped back, so maybe he did take too much out of the tyres. Tyres not a massive issue in terms of degradation here, but you can't just go completely flat out and really destroy them at the rate the Italian driver surely has. A single point at the moment for Luca Giotto. So Markelov trying to minimize the damage. The man he's racing in the championship. They, of course, are very close. Markelov, who finds himself in third position in the title battle. The man in front of him is Ollie Rowland, and he, of course, is out of this race. If you're just tuning in, as Leclerc, we've got a magnificent battle for the lead brewing here between Leclerc. We were going to have one between Norman Nato and Ollie Rowland, but we still might get one between Leclerc and Nato in the final stages. Will it be a battle, though, or will it find just an easy pass? I don't think there is such a thing on Norman Nato. We're on board with the Renault test driver and making his Formula 2 debut. Point scorer yesterday, Sorokin. He'd be a point scorer again today, and he's trying, as he has been for the last few laps now, to get past Jordan King.
Good race for him, because it was not so competitive in free practice. He get a bit better in qualify, but not enough to be there on top. But then yesterday good race, today even better. So it means that with a bit of time staying in the car, Sirotkin, he come back like a top 5 racing driver.
Well, he certainly is that quick. He's definitely always had the pace, just needs to be comfortable. He said to me at the start of the weekend, I'm only human. It's going to take an enormous amount. As look at the bumps here for Norman Nato. Remember, we had a real issue when speaking to Boschong, said he had a real issue with the car bottoming out at the end of the straight yesterday. He said it cost him a lot of time, and you can see how bumpy it is down into turn number 1.
Nato that is doing a wonderful race because he's improving his lap time lap by lap, but seems that Leclerc with him, there's no way, because he's always 1 second quicker than him. But Nato is the second fastest in the track. Now he's still leading, but maybe less than 2 seconds between him and Leclerc at the end of this lap.
Oh, the wonderful switchback section, only place on the calendar where there are cars coming in one direction and going the other way in the other. 5 laps to go, 1.7 seconds between the leaders. All of these positions able to resolve. Now, can Nato take something from Jordan King, who has had an unbelievable exit all the way through the race? He has just managed to get exactly what he needed out of turn 16, and it has protected him time and time again when he hasn't had the DRS. That is surely Norman Nato's last hope of hanging on, and the incident involving Leclerc and Canamassas. Late drama perhaps here, under investigation for failing to slow for the yellow flags. So Leclerc massively on the charge, but we saw penalties yesterday after the race for his championship rival, Ollie Rowland. But all we can focus on, we'll wait for word from the stewards, but all we can focus on at this stage of the race, it would be a post-race penalty. But Leclerc can only focus on the here and now, and right in front of him is the Arden of Norman Nato. Nato, who had a wretched time in Monaco, really wasn't enjoying it at all. Didn't score in both races there, didn't score in Barcelona, a race he won a year ago, so Nato's not had the easiest time. The team press release admitted that he's got to reignite his season. Well, the drive today has done that, but can it be a drive for victory and not just another podium, a second podium of the season? At the moment, Charles Leclerc is on for his 5th podium in only 8 races, but now, as they come out of turn 16, Leclerc will be gaining with every metre that they drive.
Good exit there from turn 16 to Norman Nato. For Norman Nato, that he had a good exit, and look, Leclerc is not so close. He has the DRS, maybe can gain on the straight, but seems maybe too far to try the attack now.
Look at the time he's gaining, though. He won't be making the move for position, but he's gaining all the time. And there's a penalty! I don't believe it! A penalty for Charles Leclerc to end his hopes of taking the double. Prema just learning about it, and just when we were going to get a battle for the lead, it's been taken away by that 10-second penalty, unless he can get past and do something truly extraordinary.
That looks impossible, but for Norman Nato it's perfect, because he has just to maintain the position until the main straight, and then try to be quick and try to follow Leclerc and don't lose the second in 3 laps. That looks impossible, and you get the victory, Norman Nato. This year he didn't yet, so maybe he can deserve it. For Leclerc, I'm sorry, but you know the marshal, they are so strict with the penalty for not releasing enough under yellow safety car. They look at it in a really restricted way, and maybe they are also right, because under safety car you need to release the throttle, if no, it's dangerous.
Well, they will. The contention yesterday between Ollie Rowland and the stewards was that Ollie Rowland had slowed, and they could see that from the data. He had slowed by 0.7 of a second, but he did set a personal best sector at that time. Here's Gustav Malia. Oh! How on earth has he kept that out of the wall despite bumping down it? Crazy situation. Wow, he saw one racing engineering Louis Delatraz in that wall yesterday, and I don't know quite how he managed to avoid. Now, Norman Nato will have been told there's no point in racing. He can wave him by because there's no way that unless Nato makes a mistake, he's going to lose the victory with that 10-second penalty. But Leclerc will want to argue about this as we see that Leclerc is going to stay on the podium.
I love this attitude. Stay on the inside. I have to lose the position, but you have to overtook me on the outside. Well done to Nato that he just need to follow him a bit and don't lose too much time. There's no way to risk. You're right. I hope that the engineer tell him, and for sure he did.
And Norman Nato will never have felt better about being passed for the lead of the race. Such nerves on the Prema team. Arden, remember, have not won at this level of motorsport, never won in Formula 2. But Arden, back in GP2, have not been winners since 2012. And in their 20th year of competition, well, we're seeing something truly, truly remarkable. So Leclerc, well, he would have done it. But for the penalty, he would have made the move. I know that Nato would have offered up a more robust defense in difficult circumstances.
Okay, keep pushing now. We have a 10-second penalty. I have a 10-second penalty. But we are 10.5 seconds in front of Latifi, and Nato could get a penalty as well. So keep pushing, maintain more than 10 seconds to Latifi.
So it's important to push to be second in the standing just after Nato, because Latifi is far away. He's already more than 10 seconds.
He's already got the gap at the moment. But did I hear on that radio call that Nato could get a penalty as well? So Prema really seemed to think that well, they're going to look at it and they're going to be arguing about this after the race over and over.
Yeah, but if the marshal, they already decided to the penalty, yeah,
it's
when
done.
you finish the race is done, so the race is lost for him.
We heard Danny Kvyat, didn't we, in the Formula 1 in Canada. You can shout and swear and scream and stamp your feet all you like, but once the penalty has come out, it is not being rescinded. So Leclerc on the charge to try and maintain his position on the podium. It's Leclerc first over the line, ahead of Nato, then Latifi and King. So Latifi at the moment is going to hang on to third. This battle, though, that has been raging from lap 1 to right now, the penultimate lap of the race. Oh, Matsushita has been so close time and time and time again, but he can't get it done because these guys, Jordan King, absolutely magic out of turn 16. Sorokin's had the DRS. Markelov's had the DRS. What is that? Is it a problem? Was it a lock-up? Is it an engine issue? We saw an enormous amount of smoke there from the leader as we go on board with Norman Nato, the racetrack leader of Charles Leclerc.
Was a lock-up, so I think, huh?
Yes. I wondered if it might have been a puff of smoke from the engine, but it was just a lock-up. That is how hard he is trying to extend the battle. Here it is.
On the outside also. The one that is more loaded, so you create some vibration after it on the front steering. Anyway, Nato is still there. He's just behind Leclerc, so he's doing really well.
So I wonder if Leclerc has had issues with the tyres. Somehow these four have remained in formation from the very start. Leclerc has breezed past the majority of them in that time. King, who has been a point scorer in every race, looks to be extending that in the 8th race of the season. We've had 4 rounds. Next we go to Austria and then to Silverstone with a double header. But right now, focusing on the latter stages of this race. And it's King who has been so steady out of the final turn, but you've only got to make one mistake out of turn 16 and then he would be super vulnerable to the 3 cars behind. Pressure situation for Jordan King.
Yeah, you're right. It's important this exit to stay really close to the car in front of you and then using the DRS, but seems that this exit is good enough for King. Markelov seems closer to Matsushita or Tsuji Sirotkin, but they have both the DRS, so we have a check now.
Here we go.
Latifi safe.
He looks good for 3rd position. A double podium would be the first time he's managed that in GP2 or F2. Is anyone going to make a late move? I don't think they can. Remember, there is one more DRS zone available to them. It's coming up right now once they go through going once more time round the block, 90-degree corners, and now a huge opportunity. Not quite a kilometre this straight, but ample opportunity to close up. Are they able to make any indent? Sorokin showing his car to King in his mirrors, but nothing he could do. And these guys, oh, so frustrating for them. They've been in formation for so much of this race, but even with the two clear opportunities, it's not going to be enough. At the start of this lap, Charles Leclerc had a 11-second advantage over Nicholas Latifi. That will be enough to keep him in second place. You can see he might have taken a little bit out of the tyres, and this battle for the lead would have been really intriguing, wouldn't it? Arden have waited a long time for what's about to come their way. Really strange circumstances, but a battling drive. Nearly lost his front wing, Norman Nato, at the start of this race. And crazy situations. You don't often see this. The car crossing the line in second is about to win the race.
He risked so much at the beginning, Norman Nato, but he was so aggressive to took the leadership immediately, and now at the end he deserved it, consider the penalty to Leclerc.
So Charles Leclerc is going to come over the line first, but it's only going to be good enough with the 10-second penalty for second place. Charles Leclerc crosses the line, but with the penalty applied, it's victory for Norman Nato and Arden, who finally end their losing streak that dates back to 2012 in the 20th year of competition. Nato, a winner in GP2 last year, as they're oh so close over the line. King, and then Sorokin, and then Artem Markelov, Matsushita, and Luca Giotto, the final point scorers. But Leclerc, a magnificent drive to be first on the road, but it's all about Norman Nato, the man who lives just 20 miles down the road from him. They know each other well, and with that damaged front wing, Norman Nato is your winner after an intense, thrilling encounter, and unbelievably, we didn't have any need for the virtual safety car. We just had flat-out, rampant racing, and what an absolute joy it was to watch Charles Leclerc battle his way through the field from 8th until up to 2nd, and Nato, wow. Difficult circumstances for him in Spain. No points there, no points in Monaco, which is his local race. Thumbs up for Charles, but it will be one for the Arden mechanics. Remember, Arden so competitive in GP3. They have waited a really long time. Thought they were going to take victory in Bahrain when Nato was leading in the latter stages, only to be denied by Artem Markelov. But now it's Nato's day in the sunshine of Baku. Magnificent stuff. Here's Leclerc.
Yeah, P2.
I improved under yellow. That's why we had the 10-second penalty.
Yeah, didn't slow enough on yellow flag.
Yeah, well, Warren was quite right what he was saying yesterday. The rules is stupid because it was my only slow lap, and yeah, I just lifted completely in the corner.
So Leclerc arguing it, and I hope it's not another situation that we saw from Ollie Rowland yesterday, where he has slowed up but just happened because of this really long sector that you see them in. This is all sector 2. It was extended this year. It's a 50-second sector, and you can easily slow up at one point and still post the fastest time. Confirmation of the order there. Norman Nato taking his first F2 victory of the season. Charles Leclerc with that penalty down to 2nd. A double podium for the first time in either GP2 or F2 for Nicholas Latifi, and then King somehow kept Sorokin, Markelov, Matsushita, and our final point scorer, Luca Giotto. Boschong started from pole and dropped down to 9th. Camera managed to keep it on the road despite looking many a time that he wasn't going to. Galeo was 11th. That matches his PB for the season. Robert Visoyu was in 12th, finding his feet in the car. Then we had Folco, who was battling through from the back. Malia, Chicotto, Canamassas, Delatraz, and Jeffrey. We lost De Vries when he was running in 2nd, and Ollie Rowland when he was going for the lead. The fastest lap once again gaining 2 extra points belongs to Charles Leclerc. So Leclerc will be understandably disappointed to lose out on the double, something that Prema managed. But for the first time around this circuit, Prema has not triumphed in a race at this level. It's Norman Natto's day.
Thank you, guys. Thank you for your work. Good recovery from quali. We need to keep pushing and we get the same result. Thank you very much.
Well, calm and professional, Natto was chosen by Pierre Gasly, our champion from last year, as a contender to race Leclerc. It hasn't worked out that way, but remember, this is where Antonio Giovinazzi kick-started his championship campaign 1 year ago. And a word for Nicholas Latifi, whose head could have gone down when he had that issue in the sprint, and he's got himself up to third. It's all about Norman Natto, though. Started the race in fourth, and he claims victory. Charles Leclerc, ever the sportsman, congratulates the man who, as I said, doesn't live too far away at all. And so Natto, who was a two-time winner in GP2, becomes a Formula 2 victor. And those will be some mighty relieved mechanics. Congratulations from the boss there. The team set up by the Horners to give Christian Horner an opportunity to be a racing driver, later turned in to be a training school for Christian Horner, running Red Bull. And they are a famous British name. Sporting stuff from Leclerc could be incredibly annoyed, but he will know, with Ollie Rowland out and Artem Markelov down the order, that he has had a superb weekend for his championship aspirations. So with Natto's victory, it's now 6 different winners from 8 races this year. But no new drivers on the podium. We remain at 10, ultra competitive, always is. But at the moment, you'd have to say, with the drive that we saw from Charles Leclerc, truly amazing stuff. Really the class of the field. He will want to see the evidence of those yellow flags, won't he? Just listen in. Unsurprisingly, they are communicating in French. One being Monegasque, the other one being French. He doesn't seem too disappointed. It's time to get these guys up onto the podium. And Dams have been really resurgent. They have looked really good in Formula 2 in 2017. Well, confusing situation if you look at the pictures. Leclerc with his arm in the air celebrating, but it's the yellow car behind. Arden's day after a 10-second penalty applied. Leclerc will take the satisfaction that he's increased his championship lead, and he proved that he did have the pace to go from reverse grid 8th back to the front. So Gasly, who knows what it's like to win, speaking to his old team principal there, René Rosin, talking and discussing what they've seen, and it's more Prema success earlier in the weekend, once again on the podium, and all of their wins and podiums scored by Charles Leclerc. Another difficult day, unfortunately, for his teammate Antonio Fuoco. So richly deserved applause, and as the top 3 make their way into the call-off area, let's see if Nicholas Latifi can encourage them to discuss the race in English, which would be very interesting to hear. So you can see the advantage that Leclerc has pulled out now. 122 points to Ollie Rowland. When we went into Monaco, the gap was 26. Then it went down to 3 after that round. And now, enormous, as you can see. So there are a lot of new staff members at Arden, but for the top brass, their long wait for victory is over. Luis Razia, back in 2012 at Silverstone at their home event, was the last time they experienced what they're about to right now for the first time in Formula 2. guys on the podium, waiting and not have a photo if you're about to present a trophy to some of the greatest young talent at racing in the world.
Here they come, ladies and gentlemen,
So here we go, in third place, a double podium for the first time at this level for Nicholas Latifi. It's his third of the season to boot. Charles Leclerc finished first, will stand on the second step. Great victory yesterday, great second place today. But for Norman Nato, it's a first ever Formula 2 victory, and he will hear in its honor the French national anthem.
welcome as Norman. The Winners' Trophy is presented to him by Abulfaz Korea, the Minister of Culture and Tourism of Azerbaijan. Well done, Norman. To the second place driver, Charles Leclerc. The trophy is presented to him by Farhad GF, the Executive Director of the Application under President. Well done, Charles. And in third place, Nicholas Latifi, the trophy is presented to him by Adil Karefek, the Vice President of Azerbaijan's Automobile Federation. Congratulations, gentlemen. And now time for the champagne!
Congratulations to Norman Nato. Wonderful race, wonderful victory. Please, guys, Norman, what a race. What a race. I think that you thought after the mistake of Roland, this is my day. But then comes Leclerc. And so you were worried for a bit, but then great victory. The only one that didn't make any mistake today.
Yeah, at the beginning of the race, the pace was quite good. Then I saw Oliver that had a problem on the car. I was able to increase the gap, so say, okay, everything is under control. I just try to keep my tire just in case of safety car or something. But then my engineer told me that Charles was very quick coming back. So I said, okay, I try to push again. And wow, this guy and Prema this weekend were really strong again. So congratulations to them. But at the end, yeah, it's really good result for us. We struggled in qualifying, and the team did a really good work to improve the car, improve as well my driving, and we get this result today. So I'm really happy, and we need to keep pushing because this team and this guy are really strong. So we'll try to catch them back. But yeah, I'm really happy of this victory.
Very well done, very well done. Charles, you were unbelievable quick today. You were flying in the track. And then, did you realize about this mistake under yellow? I don't know, you didn't slow down enough. What is your feeling? Because it seems that you got the victory and then you had the notice about maybe I'm losing it, no?
Yeah, I think Oliver had exactly the same problem yesterday, and he was saying, yeah, there's something a bit wrong in this rule, but it's like this for everyone. I was in the traffic until that lap, and on this lap I was free of traffic, so obviously it's a lot quicker in all the corners, but yeah, in this particular lap I lifted, but not enough for the whole sector to not be improved. So yeah, it's a shame, but I mean, I think yeah, I had a good start this weekend because the points in race 2 have been a bit helped by the technical problem of Oliver that was very quick and in front of us. So yeah, it's good points to take. Shame we didn't win, but it's like this. I'm still very, very happy of what we've shown in this race.
Very well done, congratulations. Latifi, we are really sorry for Team Damsa for the technical problem of your teammate, but you were quick and you're again in the podium. Seems that now is starting a very new season for you. I mean, seems that you are confident.
Yeah, for sure. Compared to last year, I would say it's really night and day difference, especially in the races. That was clearly the weak point for me last year. And yeah, this year it's been turned around. We did quite a lot of work over the winter to try and get to the bottom of that. And every race this year, I've shown that I've had really good race pace to be able to run at the front. So obviously, yeah, really happy to get another podium, 2 podiums for the weekend. Haven't done that before, obviously, in GP2 or F2. So a big thank you to the guys. And yeah, like you said, shame for Oliver. Obviously, he was running at the front, so it would have been nice if we could have got a double podium, but it is what it is.
Very well done, very well done. Congratulations. Norman, please tell me why we didn't show you so much in the podium this year, because it seems that you're a driver that deserves to stay here. I mean, you are quick, you are enough, you are passionate, and you tried to overtake at the beginning, maybe it was risky, but you are here. The winner, man.
Yeah, you need to take some race sometime. I knew that Oliver was trying to push at the beginning, so I knew it was important to stay in the toe and to follow Oliver because his pace was good yesterday. So yeah, we'll try to understand what happened at the beginning of the weekend and why we improved, and we try to arrive in next week in Austria and be in the right pace right away. And I also would like to have a word for the father of Charles who passed away. He was a really good guy. So these victories for Hervé today and for my friend Jules as well.
Good words, good words. Thank you and congratulations, guy. See you at the next event. Enjoy the Formula 1 race and see you for the Formula 2 in the next event. Ciao.
Enjoy Sky Sports F1 Live on all screens, on the go, and the best bits on demand.